5 contracts, 5 states. Every single one of them is built around kids. The widest reach opportunity this week is in Lawrence, Massachusetts, a turnkey program to stock and run 17 clothing and essential closets across 25 schools, serving over 20,000 students. If you're not watching what agencies put out to bid, you're guessing. I'm Abena Souffrant, State and Local Government Contracting Strategist and founder of A&L Business Solutions. Every week, my team pulls a national data set of SLED opportunities, and I give you the 5 you actually need to pay attention to. That's what this show is. Let's get into it. Every contract on this week's list sits inside the youth industry: education, workforce readiness, basic needs, leadership development. That's not a coincidence. This is expertise spend, not goods spend. Agencies aren't buying supplies as much this week. They're buying outcomes for kids, and they're buying the people and the programs who know how to deliver them. The anchor contract out of Massachusetts is a fully operational build-out across 25 schools, reaching thousands of students. Now, here's what you may interpret about this. Agencies are done treating youth services as 5 disconnected line items. They want vendors who understand the entire and whole pipeline. You've got academic, emotional, basic needs, workforce, and can operate inside of a school system without hand-holding. That's your open door. If your firm touches any part of this youth industry, this is absolutely your lane. And if you're watching this live, especially around the time where we actually post this on our YouTube channel, just know the budgets within the school system have just restarted. And so this is the optimal time to pitch your services to school. Let's get into the top 5 contracts this week. The first contract is coming out of the state of Arizona for youth program services. Now, this is a full play revolved around career exploration, internships, academic support, and case management rolled all into one contract. The right vendor here already runs workforce development or wraparound youth services and can prove outcomes and not just activity counts. If you can show job placements and academic gains side by side, you are the exact vendor they're looking for. Your pipeline lesson for this contract is statewide youth workforce contracts like this one rewards vendors who can document dual outcomes: education and employment in that same exact report. Now, build that reporting infrastructure now before you bid, not after you win. Now, don't sleep on the agencies that measure both sides. That is your advantage. Contract number 2 is coming out of Morristown, New Jersey for in-school youth program services. Now, this one is embedded directly inside the school system for tutoring, dropout recovery, credentialed occupational training, and entrepreneurship. This agency, also considered a school district, they need a vendor who can operate on school grounds and can speak both education and workforce language fluently. A 1-year contract, which means this relationship building entry point, not a one and done. Your pipeline lesson for this contract is in-school contracts are the fastest way to build district relationships that renew. Treat year one as your audition. The relationship is the point. Deliver clean, and this becomes a multi-year account. And if you're not sure and don't want to take my word on it, send me a DM. I can show you proof of how that first year has turned into our 5th year. Contract number 3, our star contract this week out of Lawrence, Massachusetts for student clothing and basic essential closet services. Now, this is the widest reach contract that's on our list. We're talking about 17 closets, 25 schools, over 12,000 students. The agency needs an operational muscle, procurement, logistics, restocking cadence, and a fundraising partnership component. This is not a grant writer's contract, so don't get too excited. However, it is an operator's contract. And if you can run supply chains or facilities, adjacent services with a human services angle, this is absolutely worth pursuing. Now, your pipeline lesson for this is basic needs infrastructure contracts get overlooked because they don't sound glamorous. There's some of the stickiest accounts in SLED, reoccurring stock, reoccurring relationships, reoccurring revenue. But don't sleep on the unglamorous contracts. They're often the longest ones that are going to be on your books. Contract number 4 is coming out of Philippi, West Virginia for student leadership and student culture improvement program services. This is a curriculum plus platform contract centered around leadership content, software access, printing materials, in-person professional development, and coaching, pre-K through 12th grade. The right vendor here has both an ed tech product and a live training delivery arm. Agencies buying a framework this comprehensive are signaling a long-term investment, not a pilot. Now, your pipeline lesson for this contract is bundled curriculum and coaching contracts favor vendors who can show up twice, once with the product and once with the person delivering it. If you have only one half of the equation, this is your signal to build a delivery partnership before the next one of these actually lands. And let me tell you, this is not going to be the first of its kind, and it's definitely not the last. Our last contract out of our top 5 contracts this week is coming out of the state of New York for Youth Development Program Services. Now, this program tracks under one contract. We have civic engagement, mentoring, career development, health, education, anti-trafficking, and family support. 7 pillars. The agency wants vendors servicing under-resourced communities who can flex across multiple domains without losing focus. This is squarely your lane if you already run multi-track youth programming. Your pipeline lesson for this contract is when an RFP lists 7 service categories under one umbrella, agencies aren't expecting one vendor to be excellent at all 7. They're expecting a strong prime with the right subcontractor bench. Start building that bench now. That is your open door before the next multi-track RFP drops. So here's the pattern across all 5. Wraparound wins. Every single contract this week rewards the vendor who covers more than one point in our youth industries. We have academics, plus workforce, basic needs plus fundraising, curriculum plus live coaching, 7-program track under one roof. Agencies are done stitching together 5 separate vendors for 5 separate needs. If you're a single service provider, you're not disqualified, but you need a partner. The vendors who win these contracts either have built wraparound capability in-house or locked down a subcontractor relationship before the RFP drops, not after. That's the tell this week. Dollar amounts weren't even disclosed on any of these 5 contracts, and it doesn't really matter. The scope and the coordination were the real signals, not the price. And that's the lesson that you need to pay attention to. Watch for scope width, not just budget size. So I want you to go open up your CRM because we are actually tracking what we're bidding, right? We're not just going on a whim and definitely not off of emotions. I want you to tag every contact who covers a service area that's adjacent to yours. Now that's your bench for the next wraparound RFP. And get used to doing that because a lot of these contracts may seem like there's not many out there anymore, but if you read, that's what we do, right? If you read the scope of work, you'll realize that many of these service contracts now have multi-services embedded in them. And so you've got 5 contracts in front of you this week with no disclosed budget and no clear way to know which bids are actually worth your team's time. And that's how weeks get wasted chasing opportunities that looked good on paper, but were never a strong fit. Now, our pipeline calibration session gives you clarity before you commit the resources. You'll actually walk away with a scored priority list of active RFPs based on your actual capabilities, a repeatable go, no-go framework so you know what to pursue and what to pass on, a clear view of where your limited bid capacity has the highest potential payoff, direct access to me when you need a second set of eyes on a contract before you commit, and exclusive access to our illustrious quarterly report that's giving you insight on the opportunities and trends and the shifts that happen that could impact where you focus on next. The goal isn't to bid on more opportunities. That's really easy, but it's also very scatterbrained. It's to know which opportunities deserve your time, your people, and your money. Now, the link for our calibration session is in the description and pinned in the comments below. And I'm ready for you to stop guessing which contract to chase and start actually bidding with a plan. Now, that's it for This Week in Procurement. Remember, opportunities are everywhere. I'm Abena Souffrant, and I'll see you next week.